week, and I am paying for it this week. You ever lose your voice and then you get it back and you're like, well, yeah, it's back, kind of. Great. So, 1 Corinthians chapter 12. I will be reading verse 12 through 112. That's it. That's all I'm reading. Just 100 verses tonight, right? We're good? We're good? Huh? You want more? Man, after my own heart. 400? Can I get a 500? Can I get a 500? Can I get a 700? Can I read the Bible tonight? I love it. So my title tonight is, What is My Walk? You might say, well, what do you mean, what is my walk? I take one step in front of the other, and I tend to go places. Does anybody ever think that way whenever they walk? I'm walking to something. Have you ever started walking, and you're like, where am I going? You ever go to the mall and you walk in, you're like, why am I here? I'm pretty sure Bailey asked himself that about 5 times in the past 2 weeks. Seven times in the past 2 weeks. Broke up with his girlfriend because she wanted to go to the mall too much. I'm just kidding. He dropped her off. My favorite part of Bailey breaking up with his girlfriend, now this has nothing to do with my sermon, is that he just dropped her off at her house. We're done. And then he left. Like a boss. And now he's back. See what happens? Like, flee! So, 1 Corinthians chapter 12. I'm going to read from verse 12. Just read a couple verses. Read a Bible. Just be respectful here. This is the Word of God. The body, this is from verse 12. The body is a unit. Through it is made up of many parts. And though all its parts are many, they form one body. So it is with Christ. For we were all baptized by one Spirit into one body. Whether Jews or Greeks, slave or free, and we're all given the one Spirit to drink. We're all a part of one thing. That's what it's saying. You might look at your situation and you'll say, I don't feel like I'm really achieving right now. And you say, well, I'm not doing what they're doing. I wish I could do what they're doing. They mean more. They're more valuable than I am. And you'll never find it out more than when you're playing dodgeball. Because then they look at you, they're like, yeah, I'll take the other guy. I don't want that guy on my team. I'm going to throw a ball at him. And that's what they're thinking. I never played dodgeball competitively because of that. I was afraid I wouldn't get chosen. I'm a big target. So, whenever you think about many parts, how many of you have ever assembled like a piece of furniture or put together like a bike or put together something really weird or a puzzle? How many? How many have done that? And how many of you yelled, hollered, screamed at it the whole time? Oh, still just me? Just me? Okay, that's cool. Throw it around. My father-in-law could be a commercial for DeWalt because I saw him throw a saw 30 feet. He got angry. It didn't cut what he was trying to cut. And he threw it. He did anchor chuck. You ever have an anchor chuck? He anchor chucked it 30 feet. And I remember, I'm like, oh my God, he broke his saw. We're right here. We're never going to cut it down. And then he was like, whoo. Then he walked and got it. Came back. It worked. I don't know how. Tough love. Tough love. I figured when he threw it, the saw was like, ooh, he means business now. We're going to really cut this now. Because before, hanging out. Didn't even go fast. Blades aren't sharp. They sharpened themselves on the way back. It knew you're going to get chucked again. I'll angry chuck you twice. I think that's what you might have said that on the way. People get frustrated when there's a lot of little parts. I know for a fact he will not put together an IKEA anything. I have put together more IKEA things than my father-in-law, who is a professional handyman and maintenance business owner. Shantae has done the same. We can brag because we have put together a desk. Mind you, it's a piece of wood, 4 pillars, boom. It's not got drawers or nothing. Don't get excited. Huh? It's a desk. We bought a file cabinet, and it's got little parts in it. And when I see a lot of little parts, what a man does, and this is probably 60% of why they get married, they hand it to their wives. Babe, there's a lot of screws and a lot of nails. I love you. I think you'll like this. This is fun. And she'll just go, I love it. Give me all the bolts. Because if I do it, one time putting something together and I put tape around it. And I said, good. And I felt bad, but I didn't say anything. And my brother went to use it. He's like, oh, a piece of junk broke. He's like, man, none of the screws are in it. How did we buy it this way? Oh, we had to put that together. So why is it put together? I put it together. It's tight. Get with it. It's 2002. I don't know what year it was. We're young. Gosh, I'm old. It's probably like in the 90s. That was before I discovered screwdrivers. Really, realistically. So I would always try to take the shortcut and say, I don't need that. You ever put something together? Men, this is for the men. Because women put all the parts into place. You look at it and you're done. You still got a bag of stuff. You're like, I only bought one. I got all these bolts. Don't know where they're coming from. And that's what we always say. These are spares. They gave us a bag of spares. A whole bag. Whenever it got cold for like the winter week, and we bought a heater and it came with like wheels and I had to put the wheels on. I'm like, what's this? I got to put it together? I bought a heater, not a book. And I got angry. I legitimately just laid it on the ground. I'm like, well, if it starts a fire, it'll be warm too. And I just get frustrated with that. So I don't like putting stuff together because I don't care about the little part. And I said, how can I put these wheels on without using parts? Because they have screws, and each screw, and like, you have to just sit there. And I'm like, I am busy, too busy for 4 per wheel. Why do you need 4 bolts per wheel? It's 6. And I have 4 wheels, 16 screws. I put 2 on each. How many of you been there? That's me. I'm like, it's good. If we go off-roading with it, I'll add another screw. And I said, and I'll look at all these screws in here. Spare parts. Extra part. These are extra parts just in case I break a screw, screwing that in. Strong and lift. So I think about it, and it's all, every time you look at those situations, you say, I don't need it, just extra parts. And then something goes wrong. I remember the first time I put on a shower head. If you've ever put on a shower head, you're giggling. Because I put the shower head on. And I said, boom. You ever do that? I put it together and I'm like puffing chest. I'm a married man. Bought the nice shower. I bought the $12 shower head. Didn't buy the $3, bought the $12. We were doing things at the time, okay? Didn't buy the 19. We're not P. Diddy. So, I bought the shower head. I'm like, oh, it is about to go off. You don't even know. We're about to take a shower at a whole nother level. We've been living in the $2 world. Welcome to 12. It was like the Hunger Games. Before the Hunger Games, that's the best part. And so I'm standing there, and I'm like, all right, let's turn it on. Let's test it out. Everywhere else but through the faucet. What did I do? What did I do wrong? And I'm just like, I don't get it. I screwed it on really tight. It should be good. I don't understand. It's coming out of the faucet. I used my man muscles to tighten this thing. It should be good. So then I look through the box. All the spare parts are there. Everything's there. Isn't that bad? It's a true story. That's the worst part. It's the worst part. And I look, and then there's this little white thing. It looks like a cigarette butt. And I said, what is this? Is it the dude building this in Indonesia was smoking one before he packed it? What's up with that? And I legitimately think like this. I'm sorry. That's how George thinks. If you don't believe me, hang out with us for a day. You'll find out. That's how I am. It's a colorful world in here. It's like fruit stripe gum. And so I see this little cigarette thing, and I got angry. And I'm like, where's the number? I'm going to call these people. I'm going to call Sunbeam, and I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. Then I noticed it started unraveling, and I'm like, ooh, it's been in there a while. Come to find out, I look at the instruction manual. And I said, I need to find out if this little cigarette butt thing's in the instructions. So I look, and it says, step 1, unpack. I'm like, duh. Step 2 is screw into wall, enjoy beautiful shower. No, there's some steps. It's like, oh, there's some steps here. Okay. So I started reading, and one of the first steps was to put the little cigarette butt-looking thing, unwrap it, and it's actually like sealant tape that you wrap around the faucet, and then you put the shower head on, and it's supposed to keep the water from coming out the sides. Oh, I missed a major step. It's a single-digit step. Those are important. And I remember putting that on, and the whole time I was thinking, I was like, I got to apologize to the Sunbeam Company. I got to apologize to the dude in Indonesia who packaged this. Never called him. Never gave him a piece of my mind. But in my mind, I was apologizing to them through God. Because I was like, sorry, Jesus, I was angry. You don't even know. Spent a lot of money on that one. I came up. We were struggling. Came up, finally got something nice, and I broke. But okay, we'll go fix it. So I remember putting it on. I remember screwing it in. I'm like, wow, it's stuck. And I remember turning on the water, and like all the water came out. I'm like, yes! At that moment, it's a beautiful moment. Then I turned the water off, and I didn't take a shower for like a day. I don't know. I'm a guy. Come on. I didn't do anything that day. Just put a shower head on. That's close enough to a shower, right? Bunch of men in here are like, I never thought about it that way. I got the mist from the shower. That would make a bed. It's one of those nights. So I remember how important. I remember there was numerous things that I put together. I remember getting mad at this Wii last week because I couldn't figure out how to hook up the controller. And I remember yelling, hook it up! Because my brother-in-law's got one of those Xbox thingies and he talks to it. And I didn't think that the Wii would do it, but I said, hey, let's give it a shot. I'm not a gamer. I just figured, why not? Let's go for it. So I said, well, connect! Nothing happened. First thing, I almost took it back because I'm like, that's expensive. It was like $34 for the controller because it's Motion Plus. Yeah, and I remember Wyatt comes in and I was like, yeah, I bought another controller. It doesn't work. It's like, did you sync it? Yes! On the actual Wii? No. Press the button. That's what it did. I pressed the button and it hooks up. And he's like, no, you're wrong. It took him like a minute. I yelled at it for half an hour. I have issues. I need Jesus. But it's always, you always wonder, why are there instructions? I hate instructions. They're the worst. You always say that. And this week, I was thinking about how we all fit into this rhythm, this thing. Not just this ministry, but this life. You might look at your situation and says, it doesn't matter if I follow God. It doesn't matter. I'm just one person. How can I make a difference? You are a part of this. You are a part of what makes it complete. Without you, we're missing something. You're not spare parts. You are a part of the assembly. And assembly is required in the kingdom. What's beautiful about it is that you always say, well, how do my parts work? How does this even work? How am I supposed to walk? How do I live my life as a Christian? There's an instruction manual. And it blew my mind this week when I thought about it. I've been looking at the Bible all wrong. I've been looking at it as a book of just encouragement. It's one of the craziest books in the world. It's one of the craziest books ever written. Still to this day, the best-selling book of all time. You don't have one? Go stay at a hotel, take it out of the nightstand. Or not. Read it and put it back. Leave a little note. Love you. Take a picture of it or something. So what it comes down to is that we have this book. It's got instructions inside. And you say, well, how? It doesn't matter. I don't need this. I know God. I love God. I could just go. I'm just going to love God. I don't need to be a part of something that's going to tell me what to do. I don't need it. I believe in God. I don't need church. I don't need religion. I get so angry when people say, we're not about religion. We're about relationship. And I say it, but I think people take it too far. They say, well, I'm about relationship. Religion's bad. No, religion's what we believe in. That's our belief system. Our relationship is the walk with God. Now, if people will get their head out of the idea of focusing on, it's not religious. When religion is practicing something. Christianity is our religion. It's about the relationship between man and God. And that's how we bridge the gap to our religion. This book is nothing more than an instruction manual on how to live for God. And when you come to a church, it's encouragement to teach you how to use the instruction manual. There's something beautiful about looking at instructions and then having somebody explain it how it works. I can't tell you how many times I've seen instruction manuals and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I have Shantae read it to me. I'm like, ooh, that makes perfect sense. It's similar. You come to the house of God, you get encouraged, you get enlightened. You get to take something with you. You get somebody who's read a little bit ahead of the instructions and tells you how to get closer. That's all I am. I can't tell you that I provide the Holy Spirit. I present it. I present the instructions. Let's all bow our heads tonight. Go ahead and play altar next, Bailey. Altar. Thank you. I wrote it down earlier this week, and I wish I had it with me, but I remember it. Instructions and directions make all the pieces worth something. It makes it worth something. And the worst part is when you don't know how to properly utilize instructions. You find yourself, you might have what you think is the right thing. You might think you have something that's worth holding, but it's not complete. It's not complete. Without it, we're just spare parts. Now, with your head bowed and your eyes closed tonight, my challenge to you, what I'm going to bring your way. Just like it says here, it says, the body is a unit, though it is made up of many parts, and though all its parts are many, they form one body. So it is with Christ. You might say, well, I feel like I'm not really worth anything to this, but if you're part of the body, you matter. You may say, well, I don't feel like I'm a big part of the body. It doesn't matter. You're a part of the body. You're valuable. I don't know about you, but I've stubbed my little toe so many times that I just yelled and hollered. And I'll get punched in the arm, or I'll get hit in the leg or something, and it doesn't hurt as much as that little toe. You don't think about it until it hurts. Well, tonight, if you've been living your life, and you say, you know what, I haven't even looked at the instructions. I haven't looked for help. I've just been doing it on my own. I'm going to get by on my own. I'm going to put this together on my own. I'm going to put my life together on my own. I don't need anything to help. I'm good. I'm 14. I've got it all figured out. 16. I got it all figured out. 18. Got it all figured out. I know what I'm going to do. I'm 30. I still don't know what I'm going to do. God is calling you not to recognize anything more than what you really are. You're a part of something a lot greater than what you think. You might say, well, I'm only one little piece, but you know what? You make something that is so much greater when it's together. Part of being in this ministry is part of being this body. That's what this is. So tonight, with your head bowed and your eyes closed, if you say, Pastor George, I've been struggling with feeling my worth to this. Not just this ministry, but to life. You say, Pastor George, I've been struggling with that. I feel like no matter what I do, I'm not getting anywhere. I feel like I'm going backwards. I feel like I've fallen from God. I feel like I've fallen from Him because I don't understand. I feel like my worth isn't there anymore. Let me tell you first off, that is a lie from the devil. There is nothing more than that the devil will want to do than to take you out knowing what you can do in the future. Once you realize your worth, once you realize the capabilities of what God can do in your life, it does not get easier. You know why? Because you send off a radar and you find out that the enemy wants you out because he can take you out and knock out thousands and millions in the process. He doesn't have to go after the thousands and millions. He goes after the one. Why work too hard? He's going to go for the one. You might be in this room tonight. You might be that one, and you've been struggling for weeks, for months, because you feel like it's just over. Let me tell you something, young person. It's not over. You are the one. You are the part that brings up the whole. You are the part that makes it together. You are the part that makes it worth something greater. You have value. If you feel like you're the one and you've just been under attack, when I count to 3, I want you to come up front. If you're in this room and you say, you know what, I want to feel like I'm worth more. When I count to 3, I want you to come up. And if you've got a need tonight, we're going to pray with you. When I count to 3, I want you to come up as well. 1. Let me let you know whenever you come up front, I want you to just leave it all behind. I want you to forget about what you did. It doesn't matter. We're focusing on now. God doesn't want you to realize that, yes, you've been wrong. No, he wants you to realize that you are the one. You're the one. 2, 3. If that's you, I want you to come